Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be working on Snowflake number 11. It's called Lake Effect, and I tried to do this one on my last stream, and I was just so tired that I was not reading the chart properly or any of the directions properly. So I'm going to start from the beginning, and since I'm using a dark yarn, I'm also going to make sure to use my little stitch marker because I could not see a thing. And unfortunately, I need quite a bit of this dark one for my project. So I'm going to definitely utilize my last remaining stitch marker. I ordered a 6-pack from the Cat's Whiskers. I think the Cat's Whiskers Crochet, maybe it's called. And I cannot find any of them. I gifted one to a friend who also crochets. It was super cute. I think it was like a little bumblebee or something like that. And I know she really liked it. And now I just, yeah, I have no idea what happened to any of them. This is the only one I have left. It is super cute, and I wish I hadn't lost the others. I'll probably just order another pack from her, but we'll see. Okay, so for Lake Effect, we did, for round 1, it was chain 6, and then slip stitch in with the first stitch. Now, like the other ones, we're going to do a chain 1, and that's going to act as our single crochet. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and mark this because last time I lost my place. And I do apologize if I sound a little strained. Skiing this weekend was very fun, but I fell quite a few times. So now we're going to I'll do 11 single crochets into the ring. 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop. Let me redo that one. That was 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoops, 8, 9, 10, and our last one, number 11 here. There we go. All right, so I have a first one marked. So we are going to slip stitch into this one. I'm not going to take it off until I find the exact place I want to be. And I do apologize that it is so dark, but like I said, I definitely need more of this color for the bottom. Hi there, how are you today? I'm just working on number 11. And perfect, so that is our round 1. So round 2, we're going to chain 1. And I'm also going to make a stitch marker, or put my stitch marker here, because it's so easy to lose your place with these dark yarns. Again, I do apologize for that. I fell a couple times when we went skiing, and I managed to stretch kind of my neck muscle somehow. I think it's because I kind of turned when I was falling, and so it's a little tight at the moment. So we have our chain 1 for round 2, and this is going to count as our single crochet. Now we're going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into the next single crochet. So not this guy, we're going to do single crochet here. And we're just going to repeat that all the way around. So chain 3 and single crochet into here, chain 3 and single crochet into this next one. So nice and simple. We're just building up our snowflake, the base of some of the picots looks like. So 1, 2, 3, single crochet into here. Now we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Oop. Try not to lose your yarn. If you do, no problem, but definitely happens to the best of us. 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into here. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into here. Even my arms are a little tired. I had to, every time I went to go pick myself up, I would use the skis instead of just pushing myself off the ground like most normal people. And I really exhausted my triceps completely just from trying to push myself off the ground with my sticks, with my skiing sticks. It was definitely a little rough. Okay, so that was our last remaining, was it? Because I skipped this one. Actually, we have one more. So 1, 2, 3, and single crochet into here. So we should have 12. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to chain 3 and hook this into the single crochet here that I have with my stitch marker. And that is our 12th one. I'm going to release this stitch marker now. And we have 12 loops. So that is our round 2. We're going to move on to round 3. So that slip stitch into this chain 3. So we go ahead and slip stitch into there. We're going to chain 1, which counts as our single crochet. I'm going to put my stitch marker there. So this is starting round 3. And we're going to single crochet in the same chain 3 space, and then 2 single crochets in each of the remaining. So this one's pretty simple. So our chain 1 here is going to count as our first single crochet, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet here, and then move on to the next chain and do 1 and 2. Move on to the next chain and do 1 and 2. And as with some of the others, we're working into the chain space. So there's no need to worry about getting it into these little notches here. You just go in between here and single crochet. And we're just going to do that all the way around, 2 in each. And last time I think I was missing 2 of these little rounds, and it just started to look very odd, and I couldn't quite figure out why, and I was extremely tired. But now it's coming out much, much better, so we can kind of see the base of our snowflake starting. And after this round, we're going to move on to the picots. And it will be our 4th and final round. So once we're done here, so 2 single crochets into each of these here. And we have reached the beginning. You can see where my chain marker is. And we're going to slip stitch here with this first chain 1. Always super fun with these. Okay, and we have our slip stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my chain, my stitch marker. And we have the first 3 rounds. So this one was actually building up more of a base. And then we're going to do our picots next. So round 4, we're going to chain 1 again, and that is going to again count as our single crochet. So I'm going to put my stitch marker here. And now we're going to start working on our picots to build up the snowflake a little bit more. So we're going to chain 4 on top of our chain 1. And then we're going to single crochet into the next 2 single crochets. So we have not this guy. We're going to move into here. So this is 1 single crochet. And then 2 single crochet. Let's see. Chain 8. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 8 and join with a slip stitch in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, and this is going to be our picot. And then we're going to, chain 5 to come back down and single crochet again into the next 2 single crochets. So every single crochet is either the beginning or the ending of a picot. You can see here we did the chain, well, we did the single crochet, the chain 3, the single crochet, which was the end of the chain 3, this single crochet, which was the beginning of our picot here, and then this single crochet, which was the end of it. And now we're going to do the small one again. So we're going to chain 4. I'm sorry, I said 3 in the beginning. This one is a chain 4. And we're going to single crochet here. Preferably don't lose your yarn like I do. And we're going to single crochet again to start our tall picot. And that's the really nice thing about a lot of these patterns is they're very similar and they're all very simple. It just takes some time. So again, we're going to chain 8 to form our big picot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. slip stitch into the third from the hook. Oop. Perfect. We're going to chain 5 to bring ourselves back down. 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is going to be a single crochet into the next single crochet. And now we have our 2 bigger picots. We're going to do a single crochet again to start the small picot. Do our chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet that back down. Single crochet again to start our large picot. So chain 8. Slip stitch into the third from the hook. And we're going to chain 5 to bring that back down. And again, single crochet to kind of anchor that picot down. And then we're going to single crochet to start our small picot. And again, if you want, you can always follow along. The book is available on archive.org. You just make a free account and it pops up for you. I've been meaning to buy a physical copy. I just have not gotten around to it, but I am hoping to do that soon. It's just a little more comfortable instead of having to look from one screen to another. It's to just have the book, and then I can always refer back to it whenever I want. And I also just like having books. I love physical books. I love reading them. I don't know. I have always had a huge library at home, so it's just very nice to always be able to go back to it without having to charge something or turn your screen on or, you know, anything along those lines. It's a little more freeing. So we've got chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to slip stitch into the third from the hook. Chain 5 to bring ourselves back down. Single crochet to anchor. Single crochet to start our chain 4. Single crochet to anchor. Single crochet to start our large picot. And that's a chain 8 with a slip stitch into the third from the hook. And chain 5. So there's our single crochet to anchor the picot. Whoop. The only problem with working with dark yarn is it's ridiculously hard to see. But like I said, I need the dark snowflakes for the bottom of the art project. So it's a bit of a shame, but I thought about doing these and not recording it, but I figured that'd just kind of be a waste of time since I was going to record it anyways. Might as well if somebody wants to follow along or needs a video tutorial on how to do it. Obviously, this is not the best choice of yarn, but you kind of get the picture. And we're gonna single crochet that back down. And we have one more large picot. That would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to chain 8. And again, for the little picot at the top, you're going to slip stitch into the third from the hook. Chain 5. And we're going to bring that back down to here. Oop. Perfect. We're going to join in to our single crochet, our first chain one that acted as our single crochet. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. You can see I pulled the yarn a little bit here. I'll fix that later. And there we have, what was this one called again? Lake Effect. And this is our little Lake Effect snowflake. So we're going to move on to number 12. I'm not going to bother you with the weaving in the ends. Just going to go ahead and cut that little guy off and weave that in later. It came out quite nice. I know it's a little tricky to see, but I think it looks great. Let me just move my foot as it fell asleep. Okay, and this next one should be fairly easy. We only have 3 rounds. It is number 12, and it is called Frazil. So Frazil is a type of flowing ice that forms in turbulent water. Is that true? I have never... Oh, it is. Frazil ice is a type of ice that looks like slush or snow, but is not solid and can be deceptive. Yeah, that checks out. I never knew it was called Frazil. I always just called it dirty snow. In Buffalo, we would get 5 to 6 feet, and at some point it just turned into dirty snow. It wasn't even regular, like the pretty snow that everybody thinks of when you get that first fresh snowfall. That was always my favorite. And then afterwards, you just kind of left to deal with the aftermath of this ugly slush. I would just call it dirt slush, like a slushie from 7-Eleven. So I'm gonna change it up so we can see a little bit better. I'll probably try to save this dark one for the daylight, or for maybe a more solid snowflake, just because it's going to go on the bottom and I really want it to fill up. And this one is a little bit looser. So let me show you here. Both of the ones that we're doing right now are very kind of loose chains here. So we're going to go ahead and do number 12 of Frazil. I like that name. That's kind of cute. It definitely looks like something that would be a little bit of a slushy kind of snow. So to start this one, just like all the other snowflakes, we're going to chain 6. 6, and if you're good at magic rings here, I'm sure a magic ring would go just as well. I don't have much of a preference, to be honest with you. It's not that I know a lot of people think magic rings are super hard to do. I really don't have a problem with them. I don't care much if I have to weave this in at the end. Whereas in a magic ring, you probably don't even have to worry about that. But it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But if you want maybe like a cleaner look or something, you could always do a magic ring instead of a chain 6 here, or a chain to start. So this one only has 3 rounds. For round 1, we are going to do basically the same thing as last time. So single crochet, which is going to count as our first chain stitch. I'm going to mark that with my chain marker because I have it free now, so I might as well use it. And again, I do apologize if my voice sounds a little strained. So that was our chain 1, which counts as our single crochet. Now we're going to do, again, 11 single crochets. So just all throughout this first round, we're building up our base. This is 2 single crochet, 3, whoop, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Which is perfect here. We're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet, which was technically our chain 1. And I have my stitch marker here to help me out because it's working in the round can be a little bit tricky sometimes. So I'm going to work right into the stitch of my chain marker and do a slip stitch. Whoop, if I can. There we go. We're going to slip stitch, and that is our round 1 done. We're going to move on to round 2. And again, the snowflake only has 3 rounds, so it's fairly simple. We're going to start not so much building up the picot, but the base of the picot should be fairly simple. So again, we're going to chain 1, which is going to count as our first single crochet. I'm going to put my chain marker again, as it's free from my other project. I'm just going to keep using it. And this one is from the Cat's Whiskers. I really love it. I bought 4 and I cannot find any of the other 3. I'm just gonna have to order some more because I really, they are super useful if you like working in the round or anything, especially with this darker yarn, which is just impossible to see at this time of day. I lost a lot of daylight. So for round 2, we are going to, so this chain 1 counts as our single crochet. We're going to single crochet into the next single crochet, which is right here. Just kidding, let me fix that. So your work is going to turn a little bit, so you want to work into the top of the V here. So that was our proper single crochet. We're going to chain 3, kind of building the base of our picot, and single crochet here into the next one, and just do that all the way around. Hi everyone, how are you today? Just slowly working on some snowflakes. Ooh, did I do this wrong? Yes, I did. So we're going to go back. And it actually is very similar to the last one that we did, where you do a single crochet to end and a single crochet to start. So this is going to be the single crochet to end this chain space. And then we're going to do a single crochet and start the next one. So 1, 2, 3, that's our chain 3. Single crochet to end that. Single crochet to start the next one. And 1, 2, 3. And it's just a variation. Some of the other snowflakes we've done, we started and ended in the same single crochet. It just depends. You got to change it up somehow. So I guess this is how the author decided to kind of change up her patterns for the snowflakes. Hi everyone. I'm just working on a snowflake called Frazil, number 12, from the book 100 Snowflakes to Crochet. And that was our 2 single crochets, so we're going to chain 3, single crochet back down, single crochet to start. We're going to do chain 3, single crochet back down, and single crochet to start. One, 2, 3. We're going to do our final single crochet to end this one. Oop, I made that a little tight, didn't I? Perfect. And then we're going to slip stitch into that first. Oop, let me reverse that. So I want to slip stitch into where I have my chain marker, because that is our first single crochet of the round. There we go. So that was round 2. Round 3 is our last round, and it's where we're going to form the picots for the snowflake, and then it'll look like a proper snowflake. So here I don't really need to use the chain stitch because it's actually forming the first big picot. So we're going to do a chain 10 from here. And then we're going to slip stitch again into the third from the hook. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to slip stitch into here, and that's going to form our little picot at the end. We're going to chain 7 to bring it back down. Seven, and we're going to slip stitch. Oops. Give myself some more yarn. It says slip stitch into the next single crochet. So that is going to be this single crochet. We're going to slip stitch here, and that is one of our large picots. You can slowly see the snowflake starting to form. So next we're going to do kind of the smaller little bump. It is going to be 2 single crochets into the chain space. This is 1, 2. We're going to chain 2 just to give it a little height, and back down to do 2 single crochets. And that's kind of our smaller little bump. I wouldn't call that a picot, but it's slowly starting to form. So next again, we're going to do the chain 10, but we're going to slip stitch into the beginning of this single crochet. And then we're going to chain 10. We go back, we're going to slip stitch into the third from the hook, making that little picot at the top, and chain 7 to bring it back down. Perfect. We're going to slip stitch here into the next single crochet. And there we have our next big picot. And of course, once you kind of starch these and iron them out, the shape is going to be much, much better. It's just right now everything is a little bit floppy and loose, but they will have to be starched just to really get that proper hold. And these are actually really cute as ornaments as well, or handmade little gifts. Actually, those AR scarves going around right now, I think these would be super cute to make like all of these little snowflakes and then add them or join them together to form like a cute little scarf. I know a lot of those AI things right now, they're showing like bunnies and stuff put together into a scarf without an actual pattern or even a proper chart of any kind because AI has no idea how to crochet. But I think that would actually be super cute. If I didn't already have this project in the process, I would definitely consider that. It'd be a really nice personalized gift as well. I mean, time consuming. Very time consuming. Each snowflake takes me about 20 to 30 minutes. But I think that would make a really nice gift. Okay, so for the big picot again, we're going to chain 10. There we go, slip stitch into the third from the hook. Oops, actually let me fix this. What I did was I just caught part of the thread and not the whole piece of yarn, which just kind of makes it look not uniform. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Now we're gonna slip stitch into the third from the hook, forming that little picot on the end, and we're going to chain 7 to bring it back down. There we go, 7. slip stitch into the single crochet. There we go. We're going to do 2 single crochets into here. Chain 2 and 2 single crochets. Perfect. We're going to slip stitch into that single crochet and start our long picot. So it's a chain 10. There we go. We're going to slip stitch into the third from the hook, which is right here. That forms our picot. Now we're going to chain 7 to bring it back down. There we go. To finish that off and close it, we're going to slip stitch into the next single crochet. And in our chain space, we do 2 single crochets, 2 chains, and 2 single crochets. Perfect. Almost done. Again, we slip stitch into the single crochet. We're going to chain 10. Slip stitch into the third from the hook, making our picot. Chain 7. Perfect. And slip stitch that into the next single crochet. We are almost at the end of our round and at the end of the snowflake. So last 2 rounds, working into the chain space, 2 single crochets, 2 chains, 2 single crochets. Move my mouse so it thinks. There we go. Alright, making our large picot once more. I'm going to go down into here, slip stitch into that first single crochet, chain 10, and slip stitch into the third from the hook. There we go. Oops. Definitely not as scary. Losing your yarn in crochet is not nearly as scary as losing it in when you're knitting. I have recently been working on the capelet. I bought a pattern from the Jane Victoria, and I'm really liking it so far. 4, 5, 6, 7 to bring it back down. But yeah, anytime I miss a stitch or anything along those lines, I get extremely anxious because I'm terrified I won't be able to fix it. I did use the trick where you use your crochet hook to kind of turn one of the stitches that I accidentally made. It was accidentally a purl instead of a knit. So I went ahead and I dropped it, which was scary as it is. And then I used the crochet hook to bring it back, which was actually really, really neat. And I didn't have to undo, you know, the whole previous row, which was a relief because that is such a pain in the neck. Okay. And we are finished with this snowflake. We just have to slip stitch here into our first single crochet, which is down here at the base of our first big picot. Always my favorite thing to work into. Completely a joke. I cannot stand working into chains. But I'm gonna get it. So sometimes it's easier to just work into the back bridge instead of both of the front. loops. Goodness, I made this a little too tight. But I'm going to pull it through here. And we slip stitch here. And there we go. That is number 12 from the book. Again, I'm going to cut this off. I won't bore you with weaving in the ends. I'm just going to pull that through here. And this one is called Frazil. So number 12, clearly you can see this one definitely needs to be starched or ironed. Anything to just kind of flatten it out, you can see the shape better. But it is looking pretty cute, and it is exactly like the chart. So now we're going to move on to number 13. I'm going to move my foot before it falls asleep. Oop. And this one is a little bit sturdier. It is called Snow Mist. So Snow Mist says, this little star might have fallen in a mist of tiny ice crystals. It is quite cute. I will show you what this one looks like. So this one is going to have quite a few picots. And it's the one on the left here, the green. And it's going to come out something like this. So it's quite cute. And as I mentioned, I'm really loving this book. So I might end up buying the book because it is super cute and I'm really enjoying making all of these snowflakes. I just love it. Perfect. So we'll move on to number 13. It is called Snow Mist. And I really want to use the dark one again, but I'm just going to save it for later because it's incredibly hard to see right now. Even with, I have a little light. Well, actually, it's dead. Never mind. My little light is dead. Oh well. It should be one of those ring lights, but I have absolutely no idea how old it is. It was found in a pile somewhere and handed to me. And I thought it was fully charged, but clearly not. Now it's just dead. So having even a harder time seeing. So this will probably be my last snowflake. And I'll try to do more tomorrow, at least in the daylight. Now that I can kind of work in the one room where there's a lot of light and I won't bother anyone if they have a meeting. So to start number 13, we are going to chain 6. And again, you can use a magic ring here. I don't particularly have an affinity for them, but if you like magic rings, they are a little bit less inconspicuous. So we're going to slip stitch into that first one. And that is our foundation ring. And exactly like almost all of the other ones we're going to chain 1. And I'm going to place my stitch marker here. And if you don't have a stitch marker, honestly, I've used paper clips, I've used earrings, anything that'll just kind of stay where it's meant to. Makes a great stitch marker. I just really like these because they're super fun. And I wanted to change it up a little bit, but in the beginning I definitely did not have much of anything besides a hook and some yarn. So I would use paper clips or, like I said, earrings if they worked. But they would have to be the little hoop ones, otherwise they're just going to fall right through. So let's move on. So this is round 1, so we chain 1, which counts as our single crochet. We're going to do 11 single crochets to build up the base here into the foundation ring. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and our last one, number 11. Hi everyone. Just slowly working on some snowflakes. Perfect. So we're going to slip stitch into this first chain 1, which counted as our single crochet. So I'm not going to remove that yet because this yarn is very reflective, and despite how dark it is in here, it can be a little hard to see where I started my stitch. So that's our slip stitch. I'm going to go ahead and remove my chain marker, or your earring, or your paper clip, whatever you used. And to start round 2, we are again going to chain 1, and that's going to count as our single crochet. So again, just for my own sanity, using my stitch marker here. Perfect. Now we are going to start slowly building up kind of our little bumps. I don't want to call them picots, but our chain spaces. So we are going to single crochet into the top of our next single crochet, which is here. And then we are going to chain 4. So similar to the last one. So chain 4. We're going to finish our chain space with a single crochet and start the next one with a single crochet. So again, very similar to the last 2 snowflakes that we did. We do 2 single crochets, so 1 to start, 1 to end. So this one is starting. We do single crochet, chain 4, single crochet to end, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet to end, moving on, single crochet, chain 4, whoops, I don't like that. Let me redo that one. There we go. Single crochet, chain 4. Give yourself more yarn if needed. Single crochet to put it back. There we go. Start and finish. Start, single crochet. We're going to do chain 4. Single crochet to finish. And our last one, single crochet to start. Chain 4. And single crochet to finish. And that is round 2. So this one actually has 4 rounds for this little snowflake. We are going to single crochet, we are going to slip stitch here where I have my chain, my stitch marker. So that was our first slip stitch that counted as a single crochet. We're going to slip stitch that to close off round 2. Go ahead and remove this guy. Perfect. And you can see we have 6 chain spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now to start round 3, we are going to slip stitch into the next single crochet. So that's this guy right next to it. And then we are going to slip stitch into the chain 4 to go ahead and get started. Now we're going to chain 1. So this one is actually going to count as our single crochet. So I'm going to put my stitch marker here to mark that this is the beginning. And now we're going to be working into these chain spaces. So let me see. Single crochet, in the same chain 4 point. So we did a slip stitch, no, we did a chain 1. So we're going to single crochet, chain 4, and do 2 single crochets. Go back and fix round 3. So I'm actually missing a chain 2 in between these guys. Okay, so redoing round 3, we have 2 single crochets, chain 4, 2 single crochets, 1, 2, actually let me, yeah. Okay, so round 3, we actually have 2 single crochet here in the middle. So going from this bump to this one, we're going to chain 2 and then do 2 single crochets, chain 4, 2 single crochets, chain 2, working back into our chain space, 2 single crochets, chain 4, 2 single crochets, and we're going to do a chain 2, 2 single crochets, and just slowly building up round 3, chain 4, 2 single crochets, we're going to chain 2 to connect them, and for our last chain space we do 2 single crochets, chain 4, and 2 single crochets. Now we're going to do a chain 2 and connect it into that first, whoop, maybe I should actually do the chain 2. So 1, 2, and slip stitch it into that first single crochet, which was actually a chain. There we go. Okay, so now round 3 is complete. We can finish it off with round 4 and just kind of work up on all of these chain spaces. So we're going to chain 1 here. I'm going to use this guy. Oop. As it gets caught into something else. There we go. So that's our chain 1, which is going to count as a single crochet. Now we are going to single crochet into this single crochet. And in the chain 4 point, we're going to do 2 single crochet, and this time chain 6, and again do 2 single crochets, and then do 1 single crochet into this chain 2 space. So this is where I went wrong last time. I messed up that chain space. So 2 single crochets into the chain 4 space. We're going to chain 6. Bring that back down with 2 single crochets. There we go. Single crochet into this chain 2 space. And actually, I messed that up again. So going back to the beginning. So this is going to be chain 6. 2 single crochets. 2 single crochets here into the previous single crochets. And there should be a chain 2 here, which I missed. So for now, I'm just going to work through it. Probably go back and fix that. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, chain 6. Two single crochets. And then we're going to do a single crochet into each single crochet here. Do a single crochet into this chain 2 space. A single crochet here. A single crochet here. And then working into this chain 4, we have 2 single crochets. Chain 6. 2 single crochets. And work into each single crochet here on this side, which was part of the 2 from the chain space in the previous row. We're going to do single crochet into here, and again into each single crochet, and then again in the chain space of the chain 4, 2 single crochets, chain 6, bring it back down with 2 single crochets into the chain space, and again 2 single crochets, a single crochet into the chain 2 space, and then 2 single crochets again, there we go, 2 single crochets into here, chain 6, bring it back down with 2 single crochets, two single crochets here, so 1 into the top of each single, 1 single crochet into the chain 2 space, single crochet into each one of these, so 2 of those guys again, and then in our chain 4 space, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets. And we are almost done, so just working our way back to that first chain 1. We're going to single crochet here, single crochet here, do a single crochet into this chain space, and then slip stitch right here into this first chain 1 that was acting as our single crochet. Remove this guy, and we have number 13 called Snow Mist. Cut this one off. And there is our last snowflake for tonight, number 13, Snow Mist. And I had a little mix up here on the row 3. I'm not going to go back and fix it because I think each snowflake is unique anyways, so it's got just a little piece missing there. But I think it'll be just fine once I starch it, and when it gets lost as 1 in 100, it will barely even be noticeable. And I probably won't even remember which one it was. But yeah, so there we have it. That is number 13 called Snow Mist. I will go back and fix that for the recording to put it on the playlist. I'm not going to mess you up like I did. So thank you so much for joining. We did 3 more snowflakes today. We are up to number 13 out of 100. We have quite a ways to go, but I am still working on it. So I'll be back tomorrow. And thank you so much for watching. Oops. Have a great night, and I appreciate your time. So see you next time, everyone.